Hey y'all, come on in. Ready to take up some space with y'all this evening. Hello, welcome. We're gonna just get started at about 6:05. Tell us where you're calling in from, Mr. The one and only him. Let us know.
Hey,
Hey
hey.
Joy, how are you?
Hey,
Hey
Lauren.
Glenda Boone. I
I'm
am
all right. How are
well. No
you?
complaints today. I'm in a different location, so excuse me.
Yeah,
It may be some
like
noise
I'm
in the
on vibe with
background.
the music.
All right.
Oh,
Hey,
no worries.
Heal Her Photography and King Holly. We're going to get started right at 6:05. So share this out on your page. Let people know that it's time to take up some space this Sunday evening. And yeah, we'll get started. Hey, Cory. I'm going to bring you on with us. Like 6:10. I'll
Can't wait.
introduce you, brother. Yes, so share this out to your people. Joy, how are you today?
I'm all right. It's been a
I
week,
know.
girl.
We here.
We here
We are.
though.
Mm-hmm.
We here. We making
Mm-hmm. I like this
it.
hairstyle. Yes, ma'am.
I was trying to do something different. These little hair clips have
Yes,
been
we
saving
love a
my
hair
life
clip.
recently.
Y'all may get some background noise. Excuse that. I don't know where my earphones are. I'm just all over the place right now, but it's okay. We still push through.
It's cool. We here
Exactly.
ready
We take
to
up
take up
space. Hey,
space.
George. All right. Yep. 6:05, y'all. So send this out to y'all people. Get comfortable. And let's take up some space.
Hey,
Definitely.
China.
I don't know if y'all can hear the music. I'm trying to set some of the vibes. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Great. If y'all are
No, we
in the chat, let
hear
us
the vibe.
know how y'all feeling today. How was your
How's
week?
your
If you
week
could just give us one
been?
word, tell us where you from, your name, so we ain't gonna be calling y'all your little screen names.
Right. And feel free to be honest, like as we just
Yes.
said, it's been a week, so we're here.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I'm
Thank
liking
you.
these
Thank you.
earrings.
Black-owned artists made these. Her name is escaping me, but it's something 1985 wood.
What? I feel like I've come across that
Possibly so,
page
yes.
before.
Makes a lot of wooden jewelry and like other
Yeah,
wooden artifacts as well. Mm-hmm.
love
All
it.
right, y'all.
Prepping for Black History Month styling, and I need more like
Mm-hmm.
designers and boutique owners for my clients.
I have to get
So
the right name for you, and I'll send it to you.
if you
I
know
shall.
anyone, just send
I
them my
shall.
way. Got some looks for All
Oh
Star Weekend
yes, are you
actually
going?
that I
I
need
love
to.
it.
I am not going, but one of my clients she'll be hosting
Oh,
in Utah, and she's the in arena host there. So that's who
I
I need
love
to get
it.
these little fits
Yes,
for.
get her
Make sure she
together.
together.
I'm just gonna send it to some folks. Send this live out to y'all peoples. Let them know to join us if they can to take up some space. We're starting in 1 minute.
Like, did you stop playing the music?
Oh, I was on mute because people were walking. Sorry, that was not my fault.
I was like, something just happened.
Yes. Um, all right, we'll go ahead and get started. Welcome to Take Up Space, everybody. Joy, I'll let you welcome people in. since it's noisy on my end.
Well, welcome. We are at episode 4, Take Up Space. If you have anything that you want to share, now is the time to share it. So we just welcome you all into the room to take up space.
Yes, thank you. And as Joy said, this is our space, so we would like this to be as engaging as possible. Talk to us. Let us know things that you are, letting loose, releasing, detaching yourself from, things that you want to just share in an effort to heal from, things that you want to own in an effort to get support on or to be held accountable for, and things that you just, feel like sharing and taking up space for. So, again, this is our space, not just me and Joy's space, but all of our space. And so our segments here are always let loose, owning, vibey, and then we always end with a word of encouragement of some sort. And then we close out with prayers. So we're going to do a little something different. So let loose used to be our joy factor. We're going to push that down a little bit later this week. And moving forward in other episodes, we're talking about, in this section, what are we letting ourselves loose from, right? What is something that we need to release that is no longer serving us? And we just celebrated a new moon yesterday. So this is, I feel like, the perfect time to really just set some more intentions, not just for the new year, but like this month maybe, or whatever it is that you feel is important for you. So, Joy, do you have anything that you are letting loose of?
Ooh. I was like, you may have to go first. So that was
Okay.
literally, I've been contemplating. Yeah,
Okay.
I think you should go
Got
first because I gotta
And if
gather
y'all
my
think of anything that you're
thoughts.
letting loose, drop it in the comments or request to come on live with us. So for me, I'm letting loose of this idea of having to be perfect. Like, not me necessarily having to be perfect, but like perfectionism, right? Like, oh, I can't do this. I can't post this because this and this and this. Kind of going back to what we talked about in the first episode, but really just like
Yeah.
not allowing that to hold me back. Like, use what you got now to get to where you want to go. And that's it. I'm letting loose of this idea that everything has to look a certain way or be a certain way for it to be what it is now. Like, there's no reason why something is in your life now that you can't use, that you can't, use in some capacity to get you to where you need to be, or along your purpose. So I'm letting go of that. Like, everything doesn't have to be perfect. I'm detaching myself from that mentality.
We would have had similar answers. So I'm glad I kind of did. I feel like this is a common trend. We always are like thinking the same. But for me, I'm letting loose of comparing myself to my old self. Because I feel like different seasons obviously cause you to be a different version of yourself, and I'm so used to functioning at a certain level as a business owner, just as a person in previous life, but that's also I'm in a different season, so I have to learn how to embrace who I am and where I am now, and know that I have to be able to set my own standards, and I can't compare myself to my old self because I've gotten better, and it looks differently, but I have gotten better. I have evolved, and I have to take those lessons with me. So I am letting loose of comparing myself
we
to
can
my
talk
old
about
self.
how do we do these things, right? It's not, yes, we can take our space this way, but like, how are we doing these things? How are we going to make sure that we're not comparing ourselves to like 2022 Joy? How are we making sure that we aren't being in this mindset of perfectionism? Like, right? How do we do those things? I'm thinking about that now. Like,
I think it's small steps every day. Like, I know we hear the term like put one foot in front of the other, but as long as we're showing up with intentionality on what we want to focus on, of perfection, of comparison to our old self, and truly embracing who we are. For me right now, it literally is just learning how I'm doing things differently with where I am in my life. Like, I'm not going to be the same business owner that I was pre-marriage to where I am now. And even I'm in a completely different career field, and that takes different time away from what I was doing previously. So it's just adjusting, and I feel like really learning where you are within your season, and adapting to that.
Very nice, very nice. I think this is a great opportunity to bring our guest up. I'm going to invite Cory, if you're still on. I'm about to send you invites.
Hey,
Come
Cory.
on, introduce yourself. Let the people know who you are, where you're from, and what you letting loose of.
What's going
Hey
on,
there,
y'all?
Cory.
Happy Saturday,
Happy
Sunday, shoot.
Sunday.
Yeah,
How are
Happy
you?
Sunday.
I'm doing good. I cannot complain. I cannot complain. It's been a good season start, I'll say. How are you guys? Okay, taking up
We're
space.
here.
Listen, taking up space. I don't
Taking
even know
up
how
space.
I'm taking up space right now. I'm in the process of moving, and it's just a lot right now. So, making it work, not making any
You're making it
excuses,
work.
not necessarily waiting for things to be perfect, but literally moving in the season that I'm in, right? So, Cory, is there anything that well, first of all, let the people know who you are. Let Joy know who you are because y'all don't know each other. Um, yeah.
Cory supports, so I always see him,
Got
when we
got
do our
you. Who
episodes.
am I? Wow. I feel like, they're like during a job interview and they're like, oh, tell us a little bit about yourself. It's like, don't know where to start.
Yeah.
Who am I? It's funny because my mind goes to my bio, mad corny. But I'm a believer, and I'm a father. Yeah, I'm an educator. I'm a counselor. That's how I know Lauren. Yeah, yeah.
We're educators.
To be honest, I'm just happy to be here. Not even just in this space and on this call with you guys, but just like every day literally is a new opportunity. So yeah, that's like a little bit about me.
Yeah.
This is actually my first time going live, so
Really?
anybody who pops
Oh,
in,
yeah.
from me, they're probably like, oh, okay, let's
Right.
see what
Let's see
you're
what you're talking about. First of all, you're hilarious. If you don't follow Cory, y'all should follow him. He just, every once in a while he'll pop on with something funny, and I love it. He displays or like shows his father's side a lot. His son, so cute. So we love to see it. We love to see it. Yes. Okay. So is there anything that you are letting loose of? Anything you're trying to detach yourself from these days?
Letting loose.
It's a tough
It
question
is.
when you
It
think
is.
about it.
I would probably say of like expectations, and because it's like I don't know expectations, but even sometimes it's like we set expectations for ourselves, and it's like I don't know. I feel like I'm again in this new season of relearning myself, right? I feel like I go through the motions and I have to get like refilled, and so letting go of the expectation, kind of like what you said of like your old self, because I feel like every time I go through a new season, I'm relearning a new version of myself, So letting go of that expectation that I have to like do everything perfect. There's no rule book. There's no guide manuscript to life or like whatever. So yeah, that's what I'm letting loose of, expectation. Yeah. And I'm replacing it with intention.
Come on, intention. It's funny. That's the word. That's the word of the year for my household. I always like to have a word for my birthday year and then a word for just the new year. And it's intentionality, being intentional.
Yes, definitely being
intentional.
I was reading something last week, and it said, make sure you prioritize being intentional over random. And I was like, dang, where have I been like really random in my life? Like certain things, especially like my physical health. Like, okay, I've been pretty random with that. Like I'll sporadically go to the gym 2 days in a row. Then like the third day, I'm like, yeah, stop. Let me sleep in. It's like, no, sis, you need to be more intentional with this because this is something you set up for yourself. So definitely I'm seeing that in my routine where I need to be a lot more intentional with that. So yeah, I think the word that also sticks out to me that you mentioned earlier, Joy, was embrace. Like, how do we get to a place where we're just embracing everything that's happening right now, what the good and the bad, right? Like just embrace all, like what good or what purpose is this serving for me either now and later? Like how do we embrace those things? So yeah, I think
with embracing, I honestly think when you embrace something, it comes with just being honest with yourself. And I know like we like to think that honesty can be, it's a tough word to wrap around if you're not real or ready to truly see yourself. for where you are. But I think that honesty is really where you have to sit if you want to embrace who you truly are. And I feel like I'm really living in that right now. Again, from the comparison aspect of just being honest of I'm in a completely different season. I have to realize that, and I have to act on that, and I have to relearn that, as you were just saying. So definitely honesty, I feel like, is key when it comes to new seasons and just being intentional, because you have to be truthful with yourself. If not, we're just going to be faking the funk, and that doesn't help anyone.
Do you think you are able to fake the funk better to yourself or with other people? Like, are you able to be honest with other people about the season that you're in life? Like,
100%. 100%. I literally just had this conversation with my husband earlier, so it's funny, where like I can be completely honest with other people, but because again of comparison of where I have been with my old self, I'm just like, no, like I am doing this. In reality, I'm not doing it at the level that I should be doing it. So I think it's much easier for me to fake the funk for me personally compared to me being able to fake the funk for others.
I'm a like what you see is what you get type of person. So yeah, it's probably harder with myself because it's like you know better, you know. So it's like you're harder on yourself, but like outward, it's like I'm human. So it's yeah, definitely with myself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think I may
What
be
about
like
you?
in the middle, honestly. Like, because there are some seasons where I'm like, yeah, I'm just brutally honest with other people, and that has caused people to be hurt. So like, I'm trying to figure out how to do it where it's like I'm being heard and not being hurtful. Like the words that I'm saying to you are landing in a soft place instead of like, ooh, ouch kind of thing. So like, I'm working on how to be. You know how the people be like, "Oh, that was nice, nasty." Like Tabitha Brown, for example, like how she can set somebody straight. And it's like, oh, but that was really sweet. Like, no, with me, it's just like you said, Cory, like you get what you get, like da da da. So I'm like really working on like my delivery and being honest like that. But with myself, I can always be honest. I just don't know if I live in that honesty. Like, just being honest. Now, I guess,
Yeah, it's a work in progress, and I feel honesty is the first step for us truly admitting where we are in order to move forward. So
Absolutely.
no better
I feel like
time than
COVID is
now.
a season that everybody had to go through. You know, we had to sit with yourself. You know, and it seems like so far ago or so far away, but like that was a time I think that was hard for a lot of people because like you had to face kind of just who you are. You know, and that's hard for a lot of people. You know, I personally know how to be with myself, but still, it's tough. It's tough, but.
For sure. Well, I guess we can go ahead. We've done the let loose. Did anyone
I
in the
did see
comments have
one
anything that
comment.
they let loose?
So Glenda said, "I'm letting loose of anxiety of getting too old to fulfill the dream I started working on when I was in my 20s." Yes, it's never too late. It's never too late. Like what did that Ava DuVernay? She picked up a video camera when she was what 40. Like it's never too late.
Yeah.
So keep working on that dream, and bring people along with you too, because you can't get there alone. So I hear that.
Absolutely. Community, I feel like, is an easy way to get to a dream that you do want. Sometimes we all think that we have to start from scratch in order to complete our dream, but in reality, you know, we have other people there that are there to support us, or possibly have a similar dream that, you know, you all can work together to fulfill a bigger dream that can touch more people.
Yes, and so for people who are just joining, we are moving on to our owning section or segment of the show. So letting loose of perfectionism and always saying yes. I know that's right, Chance. Chance. I'm sorry. And so yeah, so during this section, we're just talking about what we're owning, as far as like our well-being and our wellness, our faith journey, whatever you have prioritized for yourself, whether this week, in the last 2 weeks, this month, whatever. What are you owning that you need to say out loud, that you want to use to take up space with? This is the section for us to do that. And this, I just want to really specify this by saying this is a wellness space, okay? This is a space where we talk about things that help us, that strengthen us, and obviously let loose of things that don't. So this is a space where we want to really, really prioritize our well-being as Black people in this world, right? Maybe some others in the audience, but this is an intentional space for us to take up space as Black people. And so what are we owning? What are we owning?
I start. I am owning setting boundaries for work and home. I've also just entered into the education field. So I work back at my old high school in the admissions department, and I also am a coordinator for entrepreneurship program, and I teach junior. So I technically have 3 jobs in one. It's a lot that happens, and I struggle with separating. And over the past week, I really haven't, it's cold and flu season, like our bodies are like going through different things. So I haven't really felt my best. And not this past week, but the week before last, I remember rushing back to work to make sure that I had everything prepped for a field trip so I didn't disappoint the girls. And I pushed myself a little bit too much to the point this week I had to end up going into urgent care because I felt like my chest was bothering me and everything. And they were like, yeah, no, like, you need to stay home and take care of yourself. And that same day and the next day, I was working on my laptop at home. I didn't have a separation, and my supervisor literally had to not come on a meeting. And then she ended up emailing me and was like, no, I purposely did not show up because you need to be resting. And when I tell you, no one has ever like actually said that to me, because I feel like COVID and we've gotten so accustomed to, if I'm not in a work pace, I can still just be on my laptop and get things done. Even from a business standpoint, I function like that. And I felt away when she actually said it at first, because I'm accustomed to just still showing up even when I'm not giving myself what I need. And in that moment, I took a 4-hour nap and it felt amazing. And I was just like, this is what I've been missing out on. Like, I really have to set better boundaries, because it would have never gotten to that point if I didn't push myself to make sure that other people were good. And I can't be my best if I'm not taking care of myself. And again, being a vessel and God's using me to use my gifts to touch other people, how would that happen if I'm not taking care of myself? So I am owning boundaries.
Yes,
completely.
I'm going to challenge you. How are you taking care of yourself? How are you going to start making sure that you are taking care of yourself first? Because you have a lot more and you have a lot to give. So how are you taking care of yourself?
Honestly, the first thing is I gotta get back to working out. Like, once I started the new job, I was doing so well before this because I was working from home from my previous job, and I had a balance. And it worked for me. I started at the beginning of the school year, and then everything smacked me in the face, and I haven't had any time, and I want to get back to that routine. So that'll happen. And I also started the Daniel's fast in a week. So that'll be another reset to just eat healthier. But yeah, those are my 2. So we'll
I'm
start
praying
there.
for you
I'll
on this
follow up with y'all
Daniel
later.
because I remember I did that had to be 2017. And baby, by day 14, I was like, I'm gonna kill you for this piece of chicken right now. Like, how dare you eat a piece of chicken in front of my face? Like, how dare you? So I'm praying for your strength.
It's not a joke. I did it last year, and by day 10, I was done. And my husband was like, I'm gonna keep going. I was like, really?
So
like, it feels bad if you keep going and I don't. But we made it through by the grace of God.
Best of luck to you on this trip. Cory, yes, what are we owning? Thank you for those who are sharing in the comments. Keep sharing.
What am I owning? So actually, last episode, the challenge was to pray for 3 people, and like intentionally pray for 3 people. And since then, I have found a church home.
Okay.
Yes, and I have not only just prayed intentionally for 3 people, but like, when people say, "Oh, I'm gonna pray for you, I'm gonna pray for you, I'm gonna pray for you," well, like, it ended up being more than 3 people because of just people in this situation, just who have been around me, just going through stuff. But like, I actually did it, and so I'm owning every chance that I get to talk to God. I'm owning that because it's making me, more grounded in my spiritual journey. And so yeah, and it's been great, to be honest, because yeah, prayer goes a long way. It really does. And I pray for some people that I never thought that I would be praying for them, and some other people that really need it. And yeah, and I'm owning just continuing that challenge, but doing it with even more intent now and just throughout. So that's what I'm owning.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. So we have a few comments. Carly said, I'm owning my imperfections, get into it or don't. I love that for you, sis. Yes. And we don't have any imperfections. We have perfections that we have yet to appreciate. Okay.
Yes.
Imperfections we have yet to appreciate. So continue to appreciate everything you are. Glenda said, I'm owning to be more focused on achieving my goals and not putting them to the side to fulfill others, and had stipend my personal growth for years. Yes, Glenda Boone, my mother. Hello. I've been telling her that for years, so I'm glad she's finally on that. Yay, mommy, mom. I don't know where Cory went, but I'm going to get him back on here with us. Let's see.
If anyone else has anything that they're owning, this is the time to drop it in the chat.
And shout out to you for doing the challenge, Cory. I love to hear it. And
oh yeah, I appreciate y'all
know.
throwing it out there because I've been trying.
Now let me tell you, that was what you said about praying for people you never thought you would pray for. That has been an indication of, for me, my spiritual growth, because I have said the names. I used to say, like when I prayed for everybody in my family, I would call everybody's name, right? And there was this one person in particular who I'm just like, and this person's spouse, right? I never said their name until like 3 weeks ago. I started saying their name, and I've been saying their name since. And I'm like, that is a real true mark on my spirit, like, because for 3-4 years you couldn't get me to say that person's name, and now I have been saying that person's name because it's just like, at the end of the day, it's not about me. It's literally about the situation that I'm praying over. And so no matter how I feel about that person, take that out and pray for, healing of that situation. So that's definitely been something I would like to congratulate myself on.
Right.
Yes, shout out to you.
And as far as owning, I would say, I think it's in the same vein of like, it has to do something with my voice, right? Like saying what I mean and meaning what I say. I think, and this was something that yesterday I had to really, it was a test. It was a test. And I'll just share this frankly. I sent a devotional plan. You know how on the Bible app you can do like plans. So I sent it to my grandmother. I was like, this is a great way for us to like stay connected, to do things together. And not necessarily have to be like with one another, but still have connection and in community. So I sent to her, like, let's do some plans, like let's do a plan every month or something like that. And I sent it to her, and she's like, okay, great. And then she had another idea, like, oh, this could be something that we use to get more people involved in with Facebook and da. And I'm like, that's not really what I wanted this to be. And so I was saying that to myself and not texting her back. And I was like, girl, no, you have to say this. Like, this is something you own in this moment. Like, this is not what you intended for this to be. And so, like, just say that. And so I said it, and it was okay. Like, she understood. And it's like, now it's understood what we're doing moving forward. And so, like, I felt like that was a moment for me to really own my voice and meaning what I say and saying what I mean. So that's what
I love that.
Yeah. That's that nice nasty you were talking about earlier.
Being true to yourself, though.
Like, this
you
is
are
what this was supposed to be. Yeah.
It's a lot harder than I think, from saying what you want to say, especially for someone that you care about and you love and you respect, but you still an adult. You want to be respected for what you're saying and not looked at in a certain way, and you have to stand firm in it. That's a huge thing. So keep going.
With me, like I said, it's just in my delivery. Like, my delivery can sometimes be rough. I know, but I'm working on it. Is there anyone else who has something that they're owning? Thank you for the 2 ladies who've shared. Let's hear from some men who are in the comments. Let's take up some space, y'all. Come on.
Anything that you're owning
for your own well-being. It could be in any area: financial, spiritual, emotionally, physically. What we own it for ourselves. This looks like one of your friends, Cory, Mr. Commentator.
Shout out to the news.
Okay, where y'all at? But yes, okay. So as we wait for people, we can just move on along to our bottom section where we talk about things. This is where we can talk about our joy factor, things that caught our attention within the last 2 weeks, things that y'all like. Let's talk about this. How y'all feel about this? We can get into it. This is what we're gonna spice things up a bit. So, has anything caught your eye?
Well, of course, speaking of spicy, I mean,
Yeah.
going spicy for the soft launch. Amazing and inspiring. I know you stayed a little bit longer than I did, but just being able to see something start from an idea of literally a blank canvas, and how it's just brought so many people together. It truly is truly inspiring. Just as a Black woman, as a business owner, and just looking up to someone who truly is speaking to the community. Yeah.
Cory, are you familiar with the Spice Suite?
I'm not.
Okay. So it's a Black-owned business. They sell spices, like food spices. And the owner, for 7 years, she just had a brick and mortar Spice Suite, like a shop that she would like literally sell spices out of, and open it up to other Black entrepreneurs who are women to sell their products, whatever they made, their own goods and stuff. Yeah, shout out to Showa. She was there too. And she recently just like bought a block in Northeast DC.
Word.
Converted it to, so it's a larger retail space for her product, and then she brought 4 other women along with her, and like the shopping center, and it's like aesthetically pleasing. I mean, it's laid out like the interior is amazing. It's a brow bar, braid shop, nail.
They said tag them in the comments.
Yeah, tag them. It's amazing. You got it, Joy. So she,
go ahead and just tag them,
she's bringing people along with her. She's opening up her space for other Black entrepreneurs, and it's always free. So it was just amazing to see. Like, she really, in 7 years, stayed humble, was on her grind, stayed true to what her motto was, what her product is, and it paid off. And so, like, it was really inspiring to be there and witness that for her. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah. Shout out to her and the great things that she's doing for, Black financial wealth, because that's what it is.
Come on, continuing to bring people along with her. Like, that is the Spice Girls, is what she calls her group of business owners, that they do pop-ups in there with her on a regular basis. And to see how obviously, like, they outgrew the old location, and now they're like seeing them in the store now at the new location. It's just beautiful. Like, it's just beautiful to see how she stayed down with them and has not given up on them, and is adding more onto it. So she has a block right now. But
I'm about to check her out.
Yeah.
Who knows? But it's about to turn.
I never had too many spices.
Right. We got to stop, when we start banging them on this counter, we got to get new ones, okay? And go to the Spice Suite to get you some. Okay, what was I going to say now? I forgot. No.
What's your baby? What's your...
Okay, let's get into it. How y'all feel about the soft life? Do y'all know what the soft life is? Like, this whole new Instagram trend of being soft.
I've been seeing it.
I do. I've seen it. I was like, but can you explain it a little bit more?
I'm trying to understand it too, because I'm not realistic. Like, it's a trend, I think, that some a Nigerian content creator came up with. Let me pull it up. Hold on. Give me a second here. And if y'all know in the comments, you can put it. The meaning is,
let us know. It's cute, but super trendy, and I wonder if people
slang
really
for
get it.
living a life of comfort and low stress. I just don't understand how this is realistic, especially low stress. Like, soft life to me is being able to take naps. Like, that's a soft life for me. Like, in between the daily dues. Like, what is soft life? And then how I keep hearing it is like always in the eye of women having to be, I don't want to say misogynistic, but like the real men who want to see women live more into their feminine side. But we have both femininity and masculinity, so it's like it's a yin and a yang thing. Like, they can both exist. I'm trying to figure out if I really understand it.
Yeah, I think I'm a little lost as well, but as we just had someone sharing here, those that get it, and those that
And my
don't.
thing is, I don't even know if those who say they get it, because it's like the soft life. What I've been seeing is like, okay, pamper me. This is the, but it's like, where are the spiritual, like, what happens when you were spiritually getting attacked, or when you getting attacked? Period. You can't just go get a pedicure and think it's gonna be sweet. Like, you gonna really need some. What's going to ground you? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
continue to live this influenced life. You know?
Mm.
Yeah. SP Beauty said, I think that's just it. Defining what it means for yourself, exploring the concept and owning it the way that fits you best or fits best for you.
I mean, I can understand it. Yeah, defining it yourself. Just like how we always say, define your own self-care routine. Like what helps you stay afloat, dealing with the stresses that you deal with on a daily basis, right? But like, and we can all, I mean, I see it. Everybody's life and home and everything is starting to look the same. Like, it's like one aesthetic, and I'm like, I don't know.
And it could just be culture. It could be, again, comparison, seeing on trendy social media.
But is it like is it real?
You see what everybody's doing. Hard to say if it is a reality for everyone. But I think it's one of those trends.
Because stress is.
I'm sorry.
What'd you say?
Go ahead, Cory.
I was gonna say stress is inevitable. So it's like, as like you can try to plan and prep and do everything to have it be a certain way, but some things you just can't control. So.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm very like solution oriented, so I'm always thinking like, when something happens, how are we gonna get through this? Like, what's plan B, C? Not like, I mean, I will take a nap to reset. Now, I will do that in a heartbeat. Okay, catch me knocked out later. I'm doing, but when that nap is over, how like processing, it's not no stress. I'm not just dealing with it. You know, like.
We had a few different comments. The first, absolute soft life sounds unrealistic, but incorporating aspects of soft life into our day-to-day sounds like it could be beneficial. I think that kind of goes along with the self-care that we were talking about. Like, it's just incorporating small parts. We had somebody else that said, I agree, defining it for yourself, and also remembering Black women were taught to be hard or feel this position of being strong. For me, the soft life is being vulnerable, seeking joy. See,
I can get with that.
Coming from a different perspective.
I get that, but I think this is why we even created this space of taking the space, because it's like we have to be vulnerable. We have to see people being vulnerable in order to understand what that looks like, or to teach people how to even be, because it's not just necessarily this is how my iced coffee look. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's having real conversations with people who get it and some people who don't get it, but you're learning as you're doing it, right?
But you also have to seek it. You know what I'm saying? So because you can say all day, but it's like you could be just talking to a wall. You know what I'm saying? So like it has to be on the other side too, because people won't receive it. You know?
Yes, you have to want it. Yes. Speaking. Oh my gosh, that.
It was a follow-up that also said doing the work, the heart work, healing work, despite what society is.
And that hard work is never ending. Like, you're always working on that heart, baby. For sure. Is there anything else that someone wants to share? Oh, did you have a vibey share, Cory?
A vibey share.
Recently, in the last 2 weeks,
and I hope you know what I'm talking about.
Nah, I don't.
Of your other, you didn't mention this in the Who Am I?
Who am I?
But
what I do when I'm not working with the kids.
That's Bobby and my.
Nah, I'll let that be a
what is it?
But one thing that did bring me joy in the last 2 weeks, that's kind of like vibey but nerdy, is I started the last term of School Forever. And it's been a journey, and I've had to take a lot of well, not a lot, but some time off. You know, I hold to my account, just different things, just like life happens. But to be registered and to have like the conversations with my dissertation committee, who's also excited to get me through this last leg of the race. It really like sparked something in me, because I was in like a rut. I was like, nah, I can't do this. But to know that like I see the light at the end of the tunnel, it kind of sparked something in me. So yeah.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Congrats.
Thank you.
I can't wait to read it. If you publish it, well, you have to publish it. So yes.
Okay. I'll invite you to my defense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yes,
Fill me in
you
on
have
it.
to come back and follow up. Okay. Well, we can talk about what everyone deserves. And so I think it's fitting for us to just say everyone deserves to define their own soft life and be vulnerable enough to share it and seek it out with people who are also on the same, vibe as you. So like, I think I have to say this, Joy, I really do appreciate our growing and strengthening friendship, because we met a year ago last week. And it has just been very, 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 I would say, fruitful and beneficial for us to even be in each other's lives, especially on my end. For me, and I think we're always in alignment. Cory, you as well. I don't see you every day, but I still, we there.
Yeah. I really appreciate you guys, like, because this is episode 4, but I've literally tuned in. I feel like, and I feel like I've been just in the conversation, like without being on the conversation. You know what I'm saying? And so I just appreciate you guys. And Lauren, like when we first met, it was brief because I wasn't in that job a long time. I had to do what I had to do.
Right.
But your energy was just great, in your spirit, and I appreciate every moment, because we had a lot of moments in a short amount of time. But I really do appreciate it, and so I knew coming into this space the type of energy that I was going to receive, because I could see his spirit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And
then seeing Joy on it, the past couple episodes, I'm like, okay, this is where like the type of energy that I want to continue surrounding myself around, because it's good. It's good. So I appreciate you guys, for real.
Yes. Thank you as well.
Thanks.
Spirits recognize spirits. You understand? Good spirits. That's all.
Yes.
Okay. So I also would like, Joy, would you like to say anything?
I mean, everything that you already said, just in general, this being episode 4, I think it's great. The conversation has been amazing today. Like, just seeing everything that we're owning, everything that we're letting go of. I think the only thing left to do really is give a challenge. I feel like I've kind of been the challenge person recently, before we get to wrapping up. I actually saw this in a video, and it was to write down 100 things, not all at once, like not for you doing it, but once a day. What are you proud of yourself for? And just do it once a day and be able to look back at that. And we could even lessen it if, say, we just do it for 14 days straight. Just for you to see how you are proud of yourself, and in the midst of the chaos, in the midst of everything that you're doing, in the midst of the stress, the soft life, whatever it is, just write it down. We know that there's power in saying it and writing it. So I challenge everyone that is viewing it, everyone that watches this back on replay, to write down one thing that you are proud of yourself for doing once a day. And then at the end of it, go back and reread it. And hopefully that speaks to you and all the growth that you've had in those 14 days.
Use your phone, because that's the easiest thing. Note section.
Yeah. You don't have to write it in a notepad if you're not a person that likes writing it on pen and paper. Jot it down.
So
something that's easy and
okay,
accessible.
that you're proud of yourself for that day. Okay.
That day specifically.
Challenge accepted. And anything you would like to add, Cory?
Nah. No.
Okay.
I'm good.
Well, to close us out, I'm just going to encourage everyone with these few words. It was something that touched my spirit yesterday as I was listening to my bishop talk. He mentioned something about there being pathways and purpose, right? Us having pathways, but also having purposes in life, or a purpose in life. And he said something that really stuck with me. Hopefully it'll stick with you all as well. that even when, no matter how hard your reality gets, no matter what happens in your reality, right, in your context, your purpose doesn't change. And so it's going to be that purpose that's going to bring you back up. Even when you get to the low of lows, it's going to be your purpose. So make sure you are developing that purpose every day, that you're speaking to that purpose every day, and that you understand what your purpose is in life. If you don't know it yet, you still got time because you wake up every day. Praise God.
Okay.
So make sure that
Yes.
your purpose is what brings you back up when reality gets low. So that's your encouragement for today. I hope y'all take that, and I hope it blesses you the way it blessed me. Because I'm like, dang, no matter how hard life get, your purpose is not going to change. So keep that with y'all this week. In the next 2 weeks, we'll be back again. What day is that? I don't even know. February something.
It is. It's not the
Oh,
5th.
is that Super Bowl weekend? Hold on. Okay,
No,
that's not
the
Super Bowl
5th.
weekend now. So we'll be back on the 5th. Join us again to take up space. Make sure you hold on to your challenge. And we're gonna pray out. Is there anyone who's itching to pray us out before we leave? Okay, no.
I'll pray
okay.
this out.
Thank you.
Dear Lord, thank you for waking us up today. Thank you for everything that you have done. Thank you for everything that you are doing, and thank you for everything that you will do. I thank for community in this space, Lord. I hope that someone heard something today that touched them and they can carry with them. And in Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Yes. Thank you for community.
Amen.
Yes. Thank you for joining us to take up space. We enjoy it.
Thank y'all.
Yes.
And everybody who tuned in, tap in. Always take up space, because it's just something that you're doing for yourself.
Yes.
So take up space.
We appreciate you. We appreciate all of you. Make sure you remember your challenge, and back again on the 5th. The 5th. So we'll see y'all
February
then.
5th.
Until then, take a space every day. Bye. Thanks, Cory.
See ya.